battlefields and cemeteries and battlefields and wait, this is another battlefield. Well, hello there, Parapeeps, and welcome to another episode of Our Haunted Travels. I'm your host, Sean Donnelly.
I'm your co-host, Mary Ann Donnelly.
We are here today at the Manassas Battlefield. We're still in Virginia.
We are.
Virginia.
Yes.
And we're going to tell you a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into that, if you're into the paranormal, history, forensic, and travel type videos,
don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ding that little bell so you'll hear from us next time we post a new video.
Okay. One of the things about this battlefield, you see that statue out there in that tree line. That's a statue for Thomas Jackson, better known as Stonewall Jackson. And he got his name over there in that tree line.
Yes, it was July 1861 was the first battle of Manassas here. The second battle was August 28th to 30th, and it was in the second battle, I believe, where he got his name. General Thomas Jackson gave him the nickname Stonewall Jackson. Right there.
Yeah. So the first battle is considered the first battle of the Civil War, actually. Even though they fired upon Fort Sumter and that's what started the whole thing, but the actual first battle took place here in Manassas, at least according to a painting that was inside in there. So we're going to say that that could be true. I'm sure historians will see this and say, no, you're wrong. But that's okay. We're just throwing it out there. That's what they're there for. Tell us if we're wrong in the comments. That's okay. Because we're not staying long enough to watch the movies and take the tours and all that stuff like that.
The second half of the movie is a half hour long.
Yeah. We're just passing through. But, of course, it's a battlefield. So there's some paranormal claims here.
There are. So one of the paranormal claims is apparitions of soldiers in uniform have been regularly seen. Reportedly been regularly seen is what I was getting at. And they do believe that they are all spirits that died here during the battles. There's also a couple of other claims of apparitions and also missing apparitions. So one story is
missing apparition.
Yes. So one story is that they were out, a guy and his friend.
Is this the story about riding the horses?
Yes, they were riding horses. I don't know where on the field you can ride the horses. I know in Gettysburg there's specific places you can ride the horses, but they ended up they're riding along and they heard horses starting to come up from behind them, and so they kind of were calling ahead to the person in front of them, their friend, so that they said, hey, there's somebody else coming. And he turned around to look and there was nobody there. And then he heard it coming up faster and faster, and he turned around and there was nothing behind him, nothing anywhere around. He said he was able to see all around him. When it got to the point where it would have been up next to his friend was pushed off of her horse by something unknown. She said she felt like she was pushed off by something. And the horses were going ballistic. They kept on looking around as well, trying to see where the other horses were. So that happened on here, and so those were not there, so they were invisible.
Yeah, but didn't they, the horses eventually stopped and they were acting like somebody was grabbing their reins or giving them a tree, and they were just acting really weird.
Yes.
And they were unseen apparitions.
Yes.
I see what you're saying.
Yes. And then there was another story too, where a guy was out with his dog and his dog was kind of like going a little bit nuts, and he was kind of hesitant and looking at things and walking sideways and everything. And eventually the guy saw another guy riding a horse, and he grinned at him as he walked by, and then he looked at him and he's like, oh my gosh, he has like his face was very damaged and red. And then he looked at his dog or whatever, I don't know, and he turned around and the guy was gone. So he just disappeared into the fields. Any information.
Yeah, it's there.
Where?
Right there. It's just painted over.
1590.
These are real. They're just like really highly painted over the numbers. There's a sign over there that says "Stay off the cannons." So stay off the cannons.
One, I didn't see the sign. Sorry. Two, I'm not climbing the canyon.
Okay, dear. Manassas Battlefield. Check.
Yes.
Never been here before.
Never been here before, and we got to see the site where Stonewall Jackson got his name.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool. Anything else you want to add to this?
No, I keep adding it before you ask me now.
Oh,
which is sad. Well.
Wait. Oh, yeah, I get it. All right, we'll wrap this one up. Okay, folks, till next time.
Thanks for watching.
And happy hunting. Well, we came back to the car here just to cool off a little bit. We were walking on the battlefield. But this last placard, what did it say?
So it says, with over 3,600 killed during both battles of Manassas, many of the dead were hastily buried where they fell out of necessity. Some were buried in mass graves, others were simply covered with dirt where they fell. When time allowed, shallow graves were dug and marked with headboards. The boards marking the burials eventually deteriorated and were lost, leaving many graves unmarked. Despite efforts to recover the dead of both sides after the war, many unmarked graves were not found. In 2015 and 2024, the remains of Union soldiers mortally wounded at the 2nd Manassas were discovered buried in a shallow pit near a field hospital site. More unmarked burials remain scattered across these fields. As you explore the park, keep in mind all those who never made it home are still at rest here today.
Wow.
And then there was actually somebody named John Opie from the 5th Virginia Infantry that actually wrote, "We dug long trenches where the dead lay thickest, and the bodies were thrown in until the trenches were full."
Let us know if you like this video by hitting that thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to see more videos from us in the future, support our channel by hitting that subscribe button and dinging that bell so you get notified the next time there's a video from Panic D Videos.
Thanks for watching.
Happy hunting!